Welcome back. I am Elizabeth of MissWizabeth.com.
And I am Jennifer of whichiblog.com. And welcome to Picture Shows and Petticoats.
Episode 3. We've made it 3 whole episodes. So much has happened.
I figured you'd kick me off after the first one.
I considered it.
Because I'm such a dork. I am horrible.
I'm just kidding. I would never consider kicking you off. Because you're wonderful.
Aww.
And I think I would never have chosen anyone else.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You're the best co-host ever.
Now you're just going to make me cry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't bring my handkerchief.
But we are here again to talk about Downton Abbey. And eventually we'll start talking about some other costume dramas.
We're having fun right now.
Yeah, and since this is the thing that's on right now, we should probably enjoy it while we have it.
That's right. Well, we talked last week about congratulations to the Downton Abbey team for their Golden Globes win, but I forgot to bring up that Downton Abbey was an absolute Twitter phenomenon that Sunday night. To me, that's important because Twitter has really increased my enjoyment watching live TV, but I was telling Miss Elizabeth here that my mom is always telling me, you should just DVR and watch it later whenever you want and fast forward past the commercials. But I just keep telling my mom that it's important to me to watch live because I get to watch it with the whole wide world.
Yeah.
And even though the UK got to see Downton Abbey last fall, we'll forgive them.
Yeah.
But this way I get to watch it with my fellow fans.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It has been a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed watching award shows and hanging out on Twitter at the same time because there's always lots of chatter. But this, really, I've never, other than maybe Lost, I have not seen this kind of reaction to just one TV show. Maybe most of the people I follow are just the type of people who would be watching it anyway, but I feel like there's a lot of people that I already follow who are really into the show. So,
And I also thought I'd mention, just because I absolutely love it, is that even though, for example, this particular episode wore me out. Is just 1 hour. It was a shorter episode than the first one. Yeah. So I was really kind of grateful that it was one episode, but because it's one episode, I get to see Sherlock afterwards.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And I know we won't be talking about it because it's not filmed, period, which is the reason I love the show.
But that coat that he wears is kind of...
Well, it's fabulous. Sherlock is fabulous.
Okay,
Since we're talking about Twitter,
yes.
One of the biggest reasons I love Sherlock in the first episode, Lady in Red, Lady in Pink, in particular, is, to me, the production of Sherlock, how they use tweets and emails and texts, and how they incorporate social media into that show. It just is amazing. It's really cool. It's fabulous. I can't say enough about it. I love it. So I watched Downton Abbey and then I watched Sherlock, and I'm just high the whole week. Yeah. I levitate to work because I got to watch.
Episode 3. I know in the last episode we were talking about, or at least how I have such a hard time realizing how much time has passed on the show. I know that they put the dates up there and everything, but I'm really bad about not reading signs.
I won't ride with you then.
It's one of my character flaws. But I did notice that the beginning of episode 2, started July 1917, and then episode 3 starts in 1918.
Nice.
And we start right off the bat with Isabel. Man, they're still going at it about that convalescent home there.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yep. She is angry with Cora, and it doesn't take very long for her to decide she's going to go to France.
See, why France? Why doesn't she just go back to the hospital in town and
I don't know.
Stay there?
I guess maybe she really needs to be on the front line. You think?
I don't know.
Well, because that's where a lot of the battles were taking place. So.
Okay. Did they close down the hospital in town to open the convalescent home? Or?
I don't think. No, I think the convalescent home was in addition to the soldiers who didn't really need to be in the hospital anymore, but weren't ready to go anywhere else. I was honestly kind of glad to see her go. A little bit. She's kind of starting to annoy me.
Maybe she needs a break.
She does.
Maybe she needs some perspective. A little bit of distance helps a little bit with that.
Pretty close to the beginning, we get bad news.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. William and Matthew are missing. And it made Mary sad, too.
It did. Wow, she had quite a reaction.
She did, and, what was she, the last one to know?
Her mother was the last
Okay, her mother, yeah. She was the second to last. And she made a comment about how if she would have just been able to get one more night of sleep. She could have handled it.
Edith was a good sister to tell her.
She was.
She did the right thing.
I'm really starting, we talked about this last episode, I'm really starting to like her a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
She's not such a bad person after all. Some other things start happening back at Isabel's house. Uh-huh.
Well done, Mosley.
Uh-huh.
I went from, could write you off after you went after Anna. And now I love Mosley.
So they're running the soup kitchen for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And they are getting some of the food. Or is it all the food? They're getting all the food from Downton Abbey.
They were paying for it out of their own pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mrs. Patmore got involved.
Okay.
And started bringing in the army food.
Yeah. She's a little bit sly. Patmore.
She's a good woman. She has very good intentions. I will say that for her.
Yeah. Her execution, though, sometimes she's not very...
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
We've seen it in a few things now.
Yeah. And speaking of, that's actually, Mrs. Patmore is, in that particular soup kitchen incident, is one of my favorite quotes. And I paused it so I could write it all down. She says, "Now hold it right there. If we can't feed a few soldiers in our own village, then them that's taken a bullet or worse for king and country, then I don't know what." So, I liked that a lot.
It was
Showed a lot of fun.
And of course, they get Daisy mixed up in it.
Daisy will go along with anything.
Well, I really thought it was, you saw O'Brien trying to get them all in trouble for it, bringing Cora down there, and it totally backfired on her.
Back to her old ways. She's forgotten everything she learned from causing a miscarriage.
Did you...
Trying to kill her mistress.
That was awful.
That was way beyond awful.
Her hat. Did you notice O'Brien's hat? Noticing the style change just a little bit. I don't know, but...
Hats are important, especially in that society and stuff, and I don't know enough about that. Maybe we should look into that for our next episode.
Yeah. I don't know much about hats either. We don't tend to wear them here.
Do you ever watch? Surely you do. Are You Being Served?
Yeah.
Because
the different hats.
The style of hat is position oriented. It's related to what you're allowed to.
I saw an antique illustration. It was like a guideline of depending on who you were, what type of hat you're supposed to be wearing. It's pretty interesting.
But Mosley, I was just going to say, Mosley does get my most improved character award.
Oh, that's nice.
For this episode. That's what I was going to give him the kudos for. Most improved character. I should have made him a little statuette. We should make little.
The wheels are turning. We can do this.
The Abbeys.
Yes. Oh. Don't steal it. That's our idea.
Why does there have to be an O'Brien in every story? I mean, I know it's a rhetorical question.
Yes.
But
what is her problem? She's got a problem. But you know what? Maybe she's just a rotten person, Jennifer.
Who's looking for love in all the wrong places.
Well, yeah, I don't know what her issue is, but...
I don't think she has any love in her life. I mean, she strikes me as that kind of... There's not an ounce of love or joy or anything, and so she's just like a black hole trying to suck love from everybody else.
Why doesn't she just get with Lang, the guy, the PTSD guy? I hate that I call him that. That's what I call him in my head.
I think he's got his hands full with his war trauma.
They track down Bates, and they bring him back.
They?
Who? Who brings him back? I don't remember. I'm sorry. It's been a couple of days since I watched this.
Lord Grantham to the rescue.
Oh, yes.
On his
right.
white horse called
How
Anna
can I forget
in.
that scene? How can I forget that scene? That was a good
so
scene.
polite to call Anna in and just say, I just wanted you to prepare yourself so that you would know that he's back. How thoughtful is he?
I know.
Oh.
It's actually showed up to the house, though. It was kind of anticlimactic. He just showed up. And Mrs. Hughes, so she was very happy to see him. I like her.
They're lucky to have her.
Yeah, and I feel like she kind of embodies the servant, and maybe better than anybody else on the show, because I think you kind of forget that she's there in the background.
She runs the ship.
She is making it go.
Carson gets all the credit, but she's the one running it.
Yeah. The dramatics, everything that's going on around. She's really not in that that much. I'm really glad that he's back, even though I don't know where we're gonna go from there. In the meantime, Mary and Edith are dragged into this concert to put on with the soldiers.
The Crowley sisters.
Yeah.
Sisters. But Mary has a really nice voice.
She does have a nice voice.
Mary. I love it when you turn on the period drama and the actors are doing their own singing.
That's
makes it
nice.
so much better. And they actually do sing. Okay, so Mrs. Hughes.
Yes.
We're talking about Mrs. Hughes.
Yes.
And she, speaking of running the ship,
Mm-hmm.
she has some pretty serious things to take care of this episode.
Yeah. Little Ethel has been up to no good.
Ow. The Major has been getting to know her.
Is that the Major? Who is that?
He's a Major.
Okay.
That's how they refer to him.
Well, he's not acting in a professional manner.
Gentlemanly
manner.
I love Miss Hughes. She says, I may not be a woman of the world, but I don't live in a sack.
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Hughes discovers the two of them and kicks Ethel right out.
Yep, she did what she had to do.
Mm-hmm.
She's accountable if Carson found out. Because Lord knows who the Major would gossip to about his conquests.
Yeah.
Nice leadership skills.
That was very good. That is very good. Yeah. People should take lessons from Mrs. Hughes. When Ethel comes back, clearly time has passed. When Ethel shows back up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time has passed. It's the same night as the concert, correct? Is it the same night as the concert? Or is this after?
I'm sure.
I'm not sure either. But we have that lovely scene at the concert when they're singing If I Were the Only Boy in the World and You Were the Only Girl.
So they changed it.
Yeah, because it's originally sung by a man.
Of course.
Yes.
Because women weren't allowed to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. We see William and Matthew walk in.
Future Lord Grantham.
Yes. And Mary was so happy. It was nice to see her face light up like that. She was relieved.
I don't know if I could have spoken. How she found the composure to keep going.
And she just stood there instead of running at him, which I think is probably what she would have liked to do, but that would not have been appropriate. And then little Daisy's face. She's like, great. Now I'm really going to have to get married.
I'm making myself crazy. I need an assistant. Should I hire a volunteer assistant?
If anyone wants to volunteer, you can email us or tweet us.
I think Okay, so the fact that Lord Grantham sees himself in the wrong, and that he's willing to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
He tells his wife in front of guests at the dinner table that he was wrong, and then he goes and finds Bates and sits down with him. I love all that about Lord Grantham, but I love the character moments that here in the middle of the war, which leaves the women at home to stew, and this house, which is dominated by women warring with each other. Right. You have these two men who are now friends, even though they're not socially equals, sitting down in a pub having a man-to-man moment. And I love that, because how often do you really see manly moments in period dramas like this?
It's true.
It's not just for chicks.
No, it's not.
I like that. And Lord Grantham, his confession at the table. Well, he says that he loves Matthew. That's so awesome.
I know.
Makes me teary.
I know.
What a man. That's a real man.
It is.
Comes back to the house
Mm-hmm.
and comes in, and there are some people in the dining area. Thomas and O'Brien being there to greet him.
Mm-hmm.
If we can call it that. A little bit icy.
A little bit.
So Mrs. O'Brien is kind enough to pull Bates aside and let him know that he needs to mind his P's and Q's.
Mm-hmm.
And so what does Bates say? To get on his good side. And Bates says, is there a right side?
Mm.
Thomas.
Oh, yeah, right.
I love that quote.
Please. I really don't like them. You know, even like the first episode of this season, I was kind of starting to feel for Thomas, and then the second episode, I really was, but this third episode really has him solidly back where he was in season 1. Don't care for
and
him.
O'Brien, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish the soup kitchen crew would just sink her ship. And then O'Brien, so she supports one soldier, Wayne, but she doesn't support any others. She didn't want them being fed in the soup kitchen. She was like, you're going to let them get away with this? Even after she found out what it was, she's still all... So now we're seeing a little bit more of Branson and Sybil again.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes.
And so we have the conversation going on about...
And we really didn't talk a lot about... I mean, we did talk a little bit about the relationship, but it looked like it was on the downhill. It didn't look like...
Yes.
Yeah. And now?
But now that Dowager Grandmama has... Well,
yes,
she's sniffing around, but she doesn't know. But now that she's feeling pressure from the grown-ups, she's running the wrong direction.
Well, and I think you pointed this out on your blog, that it really, I mean, Grandma saying something about her socializing with the wrong people is really just enough for someone her age. That was you, right? Who said that?
I don't remember. I don't remember what I wrote.
But, she's a rebellious teenager, I think, and wants to be one. And I think that her grandmother telling her that just insinuating that is not the type of person you need to be hanging around with. That maybe is just enough to make her...
Sybil.
Yeah.
She's the one that needs a good night's sleep, not Mary. Sybil needs to take a load off, let somebody else do a little nursing, get her head clear, go walk around the estate. Right. But the fact that Branson starts going, oh, you used the word as, I just wanted to gag.
That was pretty sick. But and now Mary has walked in on it, and she knows something is going on. And I think she's a good. She'll keep a secret. I think she'll keep a secret. As long as she thinks she can maybe get her sister talked out of this. But I think if she really thought that Sybil might run away with this guy, or...
But Sybil does have, her head is attached to her shoulders. She brings it up with him. You are asking me to give up everything. Because they can't just come and sit down to tea like Mary says.
Right.
The Earl and his wife can't go and sit down, go and visit a chauffeur and his wife. It doesn't matter if they're related or not. So Sybil is asking her to give up everything. And so that conversation in the garage really, I'm sitting there watching it and I'm going, oh my gosh, we've seen this beautiful conversation between Bates and Anna, where Bates doesn't want to sacrifice anything. He doesn't want her to sacrifice anything.
Right.
He would rather sacrifice himself. But Branson is willing to sacrifice everything on Sybil's end. Right. And not really anything on his own. Right. And I just feel like that is the least manly.
I know. And
attractive.
I think he's out of touch. I don't really think he knows at all what he's asking her to do. Because I think he's selfish and just really self-interested and is so obsessed with his politics and now, isn't this one, he's talking about the Russian Revolution, or was it in episode 2, where they mention, about that they'll never do anything to a bunch of girls, the
right.
that is in
right.
Russia, and
We all know how that ended.
Yeah. So,
I hope she doesn't allow pressure from upstairs to influence her to make the wrong decision, because that would be the only reason why she would make that decision.
Yeah.
It's just because she doesn't want to do what she's supposed to. At the end, when well, it's toward the end anyway, where O'Brien and Thomas are talking about they have more knowledge about Bates, so they're coming for him, is what they're telling us.
Right.
He's not safe, and neither is his relationship with Anna. And so all of a sudden I just got this sinking feeling in my stomach. And so I'm sure that will be what's coming down the road, is more conflict between the four of them. You know, it was remembering how noble Bates is, and I started thinking about how he's acting in integrity, and he's really walking and doing what's right by Anna and by all the people around him. He's always tried to do what's right for his mom, and for Mrs. Bates, who didn't deserve it, and all these sorts of things. And I just thought, I know that integrity will protect him. I don't know what will happen in the storyline. I don't know how the writers will play it out. But I just thought, because I'm a real fraidy cat, and so I always get real tense and panicked and afraid when I think anything's going to go wrong. The bad guys are always going to win. But I just know that because he's doing the right thing, that's going to protect him. Love is greater than the wickedness in O'Brien and Thomas's hearts and how they try to tear other people down. So
it's true.
Love will triumph. It better, anyway.
I hope we see some more movement. I don't know when we're going to get our next 2-hour episode here, but we need one. I need more than an hour. Even though I know you're enjoying your Sherlock.
Well, Downton can wear me out.
It's a lot to digest at one time, I think.
Yes.
Especially, now that I think about it, that 2-hour episode, there was so much.
We needed the 2 hours, the first episode. We needed to be caught up with season 1.
Right.
And all these years have gone by. What have we missed? And then...
But we did see that Mary has decided, basically, that she's going to end up with Sir Richard. He looks slimy.
Well, he plays the land agent on Wives and Daughters.
Oh, yeah?
Preston the land agent, and he's a slimy character in that one. So as soon as he walked on the screen, I just went, ooh! Yeah,
I
love Wives and Daughters.
You know, I tried to watch that, and I really...
We will talk about that show. We will watch that show.
It's on Netflix, so don't worry, I can watch it.
I'll let you borrow my VHS tape. I taped it off of PBS back when I could.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It even has the original introduction with the...
Oh, it's vintage.
I know. Back when Masterpiece was classic.
How exactly are Matthew and Mary related? They're
cousins. They're not first cousins.
Okay. Are Isabel and...
It would be Isabel's husband.
Isabel's husband.
Her dead husband.
And Lord Grantham.
Were cousins.
Are cousins.
So they're
second cousins.
Yeah, so then Mary and he are third cousins.
That's legal in Oklahoma, I think, too.
Well, Jane Austen had first cousins marrying.
That's legal in many states in the did you know that? Yeah, there was I saw a little graphic of that the other day. It was highlighted all the states where first cousins marrying is legal. That's not legal in Oklahoma. Once again, we're on Twitter. You can find us. P.S. Petticoats. And I'm at Miss Wizabus. You are...
I'm at Jennifer White.
We will see you next week. Thank you for joining us. And, leave us a comment, tweet us, email us. Tell us what you want to hear. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Well, it's just like Dave Letterman, just throw your cards in the air. That's what he does when he's done. Just throw some.
I didn't mean it that way.
Do we just cut it out?
who's...
She probably sat on her tail.
And you took your B12?
I took my B12 right before we started filming this thing. You would never have guessed that.
Sister.